Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. In this week's Torah portion, we begin the 10 plagues. The first 7 of the 10 plagues are found in this week's Torah portion. And when it comes to the first 2 plagues of blood and frogs, Moses tells Aaron to stretch out his hand over the Nile and turn the Nile waters into blood and to produce the frogs from the Nile. And the rabbis point out an amazing lesson. Why didn't Moses do it? After all, he was the leader. He was instructed to take his staff and perform all the miracles. Why did Aaron stretch out his staff on the Nile? And our rabbis say, because Moses' life was saved when his mother put him in a wicker basket in the Nile. And therefore the Nile rescued him, saved his life, allowed him to survive. And therefore forever Moses had an eternal debt of gratitude to the Nile. And therefore he could not strike the Nile and turn it into blood or produce frogs to swarm over Egypt from the Nile, because he had to remain appreciative and grateful to the Nile. And while this may sound bizarre, the Nile, after all, is an inanimate object. It's just a body of water. It didn't do anything special to rescue Moses. It doesn't know that you're grateful to it. But nonetheless, Moses has to embody this attribute of appreciation and gratitude. And therefore, he has to act in a way that reflects his appreciation, because the Nile may not know, but Moses knows. And while this may sound very strange, we actually do this every single week. When we make Kiddush on Friday night, we all know we cover the Chalot. Why do we cover the Chalot? And the reason is because in Jewish law, you could either make Kiddush over a cup of wine, or you could make the Kiddush over the Challah. But wine is preferable. So therefore, since we're using the wine, not the Challah, we don't want the challah to be embarrassed, to be ashamed that we chose the wine over the challah. So we cover the challah so the challah shouldn't see that we're making kiddush on the wine. And once again, does the challah know? Does the challah feel anything or understand anything? What does it mean we're covering the challah so the challah shouldn't see? Is this a joke? And the answer is no. We have to learn sensitivity. We have to learn to have empathy, even for a challah that's being overlooked or passed up for a cup of wine. Because if we do that for a challah, how much more for our fellow human being? And that's why while we cover the challah Friday night, and we cover the challah Shabbos day at the lunch meal, because we're making kiddush over a cup of wine, when we come to the third meal, the Shalosh Shudas, the third meal of Shabbat, we don't cover the challah. Why? Because there's no kiddush at the third meal. And this is a very powerful lesson. The most important trait that any person could have is empathy, gratitude, appreciation. There's a story told about a soldier in the IDF who his mother ran into his 3rd grade teacher. And she said, I need to tell you something. Something you did in 3rd grade still carries my son till today at the age of 21. She said, what did I do? She said, well, one day you gave an assignment. You gave every kid in the class a sheet of paper with the names of all their classmates. And you said, write something that you appreciate about each classmate. Some unique quality, some act of kindness, some positive trait that you appreciate, that you're grateful for. And then you took all the sheets of paper and you copied it. And you wrote down for each child all the positive qualities and traits that all their classmates wrote about them. And you gave each child a piece of paper with all the names of their classmates and the good things they said about them. The mother said, I want you to know, my son is now a soldier. He's in the army. And in his wallet, he has folded up that piece of paper. And from time to time, he looks at it, and it still brings a smile to his face, gives him a sense of love, of belonging, of encouragement, of support. It's the most precious thing that he carries in his wallet with him. A good word, a kind word, a word of positivity, a word of gratitude, a word of sensitivity, of empathy, of compassion is priceless. And Moses teaches us, even the Nile deserves appreciation. And every Friday night, we are sensitive to the feelings of a challah. And as strange as that may sound, it teaches us how much more so for our fellow human beings. Have a wonderful day.